Hi there everyone, it's Catherine with Creative Sisters Crafting and it is Tech Tuesday. This is the day where we want to dive a little deeper into some of the technology around cricketing and around crafting in general. Today I want to talk about kerning with your Cricut, with Design Space. What is kerning? Kerning is all about how your letters are spaced within a word and how your words are spaced with each other. As you can see, the font I have on the screen right now is the default font that shows up in Design Space when you start typing something. Do you need to kern this font? Maybe not. If I was fussy, the K in kerning, I'd want to bring it a little closer to the E, but if I didn't, not the end of the world. However, if I click on this, and now you can see this is active by the box around it with our X, our aspect ratio lock, our resizing, and our tilting. We'll just hit the undo there. I'm going to click on it again, and I'm going to come up to the fonts. Kerning, I find, is important if you're using a script font. Give me one quick moment. I'm not a fan. Okay, so in fonts, you can see all your fonts, which is Cricut fonts and any fonts that you have installed into your computer. We can look at just your system fonts. We can look at just the Cricut fonts. Let's go to system because I know I've got some pretty cool script fonts. So let's have a look, see. What do I like the look of? I kind of like, hang on, let's see. Let's try Batchin. Okay, so looks pretty like it's a script font, but if we don't kern it in Design Space, it doesn't read like a script font. They've taken every letter and separated it out. Make this a little bigger. I'm going to reduce my screen, make that a little bigger. Okay, let's work with this. Two ways that you can kern or control the spacing with your fonts. Let's make that active. We can go to letter space. Now, this is not my preferred way because it doesn't always line up, especially with so many different kinds of script fonts, but it's worth a try. So we're highlighted, we're up to line space, and we'll just hit this down arrow. And you can see with every, oh, you monkey, are you gonna work? Oh, now, see what's happened. See what has happened. This might do most of the work with this font for us. And that is okay. Okay, let's leave it there and see, we still have some letters like the here. I'm going to do one more actually, see what happens. Yeah, that's still pretty good. The T, the I and the T. But I don't know, folks, everything else looks pretty good. Let's try one more, see what happens. That's a nice little coinky-dink. So this is a font from a website called Dafont, DAFONT.com. The font is called Batchin, and I'll put this in the notes in the video when I post it. So except for right here and right here, that's actually kerned really, really well. So, I mean, try that first. If it works, if it brings everything together to a nice spacing, go for it. That's easy. If you still need to do a little bit of repairs, we're going to go up to this toolbar right here, and we're going to hit Ungroup. Now, when you hit Ungroup, it's basically going to treat each letter like individually. It's not seeing it as one sentence, or one word. It's going to see each letter. Now, did you notice what happened? Let me hit undo actually. Active. Right now, if we go up here, if I were to turn that off, it takes off the whole the entire sentence. Make it active again, and you can tell too by how this is grayed out a little darker. Watch what happens when I hit ungroup. Now, every letter, if I click, look at what happens. So, better. And we're going to need to move this H over. That's a bit much. Now, actually, what I want to do here too, I've noticed it's kind of messed with my eye a little bit. What happens there if I hang on? Oh, no, not you. You can go there. You can go there. You can go there. Okay, so I'm very happy with the width, but it's left me kind of a funky space here. Not a big deal. I'm going to drag my cursor and just pick width. I'm going to group. It's brought that word back together, and it can go here. Now, notice when I group this all back together and I click on it, up here we've lost our bar that says what font this is. Not the end of the world. It's going to tell you over here. But if you were to weld down here this together, you're not going to know what font that is. So if I can give you one tip when you're kerning fonts and working on projects where you're welding, write down the name of the font. I cannot tell you the number of times I see posts from people saying, oh my goodness, I welded, I can't remember the name of the font, can you help me? So, my little tip du jour for Tech Tuesday. So if we go to make it right now, and I'm going to actually change to the maker, it doesn't matter, but we'll change. Remember we talked about this yesterday. That is a bunch of goobly-gook. So I'm just trying to get to my taskbar is right in the way of my cancel button. Let's actually hit up here and we'll go back to canvas. Okay. So here we are. And I'm going to, it's highlighted again. So we want to make sure with something like especially a script font that it's going to all sort of blend together. And I just noticed something I don't like. I don't like how this T and this H are matching up. So I've highlighted the words, ungroup, actually, how's that? That's much. I move the E a little, but I like that a lot better. Okay. So we'll group. And grouping is really a tool that helps you when you're on your canvas. But again, we've written down your font name and you've welded. Now look what happens. You lose the name of your font, but everything is together. Weld does not have an unweld button like group has an ungroup button. If you've made it to this point and you have a holy moly moment, you can hit undo and it will take you back. However, undo will not work if you save your project after you've welded. Welding is a commitment. Okay, folks? You don't weld unless, number one, you've written down your font name. Number two, you're happy with the spacing and the alignment of your cursive writing. And you don't do it until you're ready for the commitment. Kind of like getting married. So let's weld that. Now when we go to make it, ta-da! And of course, when we're in our so because it's long enough, it's saying I need the 24-inch mat, and it's saying okay. If you get to this point and you're like, oh, crikey, I need it to be a little shorter, I only have a 12-inch mat, just go back here to canvas. And now it's all highlighted. Keep your aspect ratio on. Your width can't be longer than 11.5. So let's do 11.4. Okay, if you want to mess around, again, I've undone the aspect ratio. You can play around with that. And we can go back up here to make that 0.4. Okay. Make it. There it is. And again, once we're on this mat, if you were doing more than one, you could move it around. If you did have more than one, okay, so let's say we wanted to do 2. And I'm going to show you another quick little trick of the Cricut. So right now the default is 1. Say we needed 2 of whatever we're doing. We would make it 2, and then once we hit apply, it's going to shoot 2 of them onto our mat, which is great. But say for some reason you're doing one in a different color, or you have scraps that are a certain size. I mean, you could definitely work with spacing and put different scraps on the same mat, but you're being really careful. This is for a client, etc., etc. You want to move it onto a second mat. When you've highlighted the project, and there's our square, our rectangle, click on the 3 dots, and we're going to go to Move Object. And if you click New, and you can leave it a current color, or we can change the color. And it's going to give you a second mat over here. Okay? And then off you go. You're ready to go ahead and print this and weed it, and, pardon me, print it, cut it, weed it, and apply it to your project. So this is kerning, all about the spacing. Cursive fonts look really weird if you don't kern. Stay tuned for next week's Tech Tuesday, where I'm going to show you how you can add those flourishes that some fonts have to the first and last letters. That's a pretty neat trick. You have to go outside of Design Space to do it, and I am going to show you how it's done. Have a wonderful Tuesday, and again, feel free to ask myself or any of the sisters or mom any questions, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. Have a great day. Bye-bye.